I'm Michelle, and I thought I would come on here with a little Q&A session instead of doing a regular intro so that you can learn a little bit more about me and about this new channel. We're going to be talking about everything fashion and apparel related, from working in the fashion industry to tips and tricks for starting your own small batch fashion brand. So let's go. Okay, so I've worked in the fashion and apparel industry for over 20 years. I started my career out working for big companies like Liz Claiborne and TJX Companies. Liz Claiborne doesn't even exist anymore. It went on to become Kate Spade, and now it's a company called Tapestry out of New York City. But for the past 10 years, I've been an entrepreneur. I have a small batch textile brand called Amisha, and we do hand block printed and one-of-a-kind ladies apparel and accessories and a little bit of home decor. So my experience encompasses both the big corporate side of apparel and fashion and the small batch entrepreneurial side. So I have a really broad scope of the industry because of that experience, and that's basically why I'm here. I'm sharing with you what I've learned and what I know and what I've gained over the past 20 plus years in the industry. What inspired me to start this YouTube channel is my coaching and mentoring background. I've worked with a lot of new entrepreneurs, aspiring new brands that either don't know what to focus on and or are focusing on the wrong things in their business and or get too attached emotionally to their business that they can't see some things that they maybe need to change or work on, or the big picture. So I'm really here to share my experience and what worked for me. So like my wins, my failures, and also give some tips, tricks, tools that can help new brands and aspiring entrepreneurs get success in the fashion industry. Small batch means just producing your styles or your product in smaller quantities. So instead of doing thousands of pieces or even hundreds of pieces, maybe you're doing in the low hundreds or even sometimes under 100 pieces per style. And what this does is just allows you to reduce costs, because as a small business, a lot of times you don't have a big budget starting out. And it also allows you to test out new styles and new ideas without too much risk. So it really helps on a lot of different fronts for your business, especially when you're just starting out. It's a smart way for entrepreneurs to get started and enter the marketplace with their products. So in this channel, we're going to cover a lot of different areas of the fashion industry. We're going to cover design and product development. We are going to cover technical design, sourcing and manufacturing, production, and even marketing and sales. So there's a lot of different areas that we can talk about and cover. I don't have it all planned out yet, but there are so many different topics that we are going to be able to talk about. We're even going to talk about what it's like to work in the fashion industry, for those of you who are curious about that too. So all aspects of working in the industry, to having your own small batch brand and just starting out. And we're going to have a lot to discuss. So if you have any ideas for videos, drop them in the comments below. I'm open to anything, and I'm excited to start this channel and just get better with every video. So this channel is really for anyone who's interested in the fashion and apparel industry. You can be a new entrepreneur, someone who's just curious about what it's like to start a brand, someone who already has a brand that's looking for tips and tricks, or a boutique owner, a shop owner who might want to get into doing private label. Or you can just be someone who wants to work in the fashion industry and is curious about the details of working in the industry and what it's like. So I guess the biggest number one mistake that I see new fashion founders and brands make when launching is they don't pay attention to their numbers and or their pricing. So I did one of my first videos on the 5 mistakes I see with pricing, but really not understanding what a gross margin is, what a net margin is, how to calculate those things when you're pricing your products is gonna hurt you. So I see those mistakes being made all the time, having too little margin and really not understanding or knowing the numbers. So I would just encourage all brand owners and new entrepreneurs to get comfortable understanding and learning the numbers. So my favorite part of working in the industry and having my own brand and label is the textile design and color mixing. I could sit at my computer or at my desk looking at colorways and experimenting with colorways and looking at Pantone chips for hours. It brings me a lot of joy, and I just love coming up with new fun colorways and then testing them out to see if my customers like them and they're getting their feedback on them. To me, that is the most fun. I also love working with my manufacturing partners, working together to come up with new styles and sampling and seeing my designs come to life in sample form and then ultimately in production form. So those are my two favorite areas currently of working in the industry and having my own brand. So the hardest part probably of launching and sustaining a successful clothing brand is the production and logistics part of it, like the shipping, logistics. Now it's the duties and tariffs and managing all of that myself. So I really attribute my experience in the corporate background to being able to manage and understand all of this myself. I don't work with an import broker. I do it all myself because that's really my background. But that can be a lot for some people. So you have to understand duties and tariffs, shipping costs, negotiating the best shipping suppliers and costs, and all of that stuff can really make your head spin at some point because it can be a lot. But I would say that's the most challenging part for me. Sometimes even having the background I do, it's just a lot, and I can see it being challenging for new entrepreneurs. Sometimes they don't even know that they need to think about and learn the shipping part and the duties and importing part of the fashion industry, especially, of course, when you make your goods overseas and you have to have them sent to you and imported into your country. I wish I had known that it's okay to start small or at least start smaller. So I think I started with too many different apparel styles and trying to get all of those perfect, where if I were to do it all over again, I would have just maybe chosen 3 to 5 styles to start my line out with and grown from there and sort of figured out how to work those and how to get those better and then grown it from there instead of starting with too many. So now I always give the advice, start small, you can build from there. And the other thing I would have done differently or wish I had known is have different revenue streams. Focus on having different revenue streams in your business because, for example, who would have known we were going to have a global pandemic? And at that time, my biggest revenue stream was in-person sales. I was doing a ton of pop-up markets. I was growing that revenue stream, and then boom, out of the blue, we had a pandemic, and that entire revenue stream just shut down for me. And I had to really pivot and focus on online and do other things in order to sustain being an entrepreneur in my business. So yeah, start small and focus on having a few different revenue streams so that if one doesn't work out or something happens, you have other ones in order to sustain your business. So you can reach me a few different ways outside of YouTube, but definitely subscribe to this channel. The videos are going to get better, and I am going to share a ton of good tips and tricks with you guys. But you can follow me. Please follow me on Instagram at In Any Fashion, all one word, In Any Fashion, and at the Michelle Sylvie. That's my personal Instagram as well. And my brand is at Amisha Design. If you want to check out my clothing line, But please connect with me on social media, and please comment on what you want to see come up in discussion next in these videos, and I will definitely keep that in mind. And it's been so fun. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you learned a little bit about me. Thanks. Bye.